Parallel parking. You never thought you had to parallel park a tractor trailer, did you? Well, today's your lucky day because you're about to learn. For the test, we're going to have to get you ready to parallel park both on the driver's side and on the passenger side. We have no idea what the examiner is going to ask you to do, so we must get you prepared. That being said, let's show you what an example of a parallel park looks like. Right here you can see a diagram of what parallel parking does look like. Similar to a car, but a lot different when you're talking about a big tractor trailer. As we go over this maneuver, you're going to notice there's a lot of similarities to offset backing. So if you're watching this video, it's very important that you've mastered offset backing before you can move on to this step. If you have not mastered offset backing, this is going to be much more difficult for you to master. Okay? The first thing we have to talk about is how to set up for parallel parking. That being said, you're going to have offset backing, usually set up in our training stations. Okay? All you're going to really have to do is move some cones around. So say we're going to parallel park to the passenger side. We're going to remove these cones here, this cone here, this cone here. Okay? We're then going to measure 15 extra feet than what the vehicle length is, and we're going to move that cone one here to line up with this lane here, and then one of those cones over here to line up with this cone is. If you would like, you can move this inside cone or this extra cone here to be in this line just to give you a visual. But there's only 3 cones that need to be moved. Move a cone here in this area, which is in this plane. Move a cone to this corner, which is 15 extra feet longer than what the vehicle is. If you don't know how to measure feet, it's pretty simple. You do 1 stride. That's usually a yard for most people. So 1 yard is 3 feet. You just do 5 long strides after you've parked the vehicle, and that tells you how far away to put that cone. And then once that cone's set, you're just going to get another cone from this section over here and put it over here, okay, which is in line right here. So at the end of the day, you want to see a box. There's going to be a plane here, there's going to be a plane here, a plane here, and a plane there. Now, those are all barrier lines that cannot be crossed during this maneuver, okay? What we do not want to see is cones lined up all over here, because what happens when you're starting to learn, a lot of these cones get damaged. We want to avoid that at all costs. Okay? So all you do is move 3 cones and you have yourself a parallel parking. Now if it's to the other side, you do the same exact maneuver, but you just move them to this side over here. Okay? I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Now it's time to get into detail with the step-by-step. So now it's time to show you the step-by-step play on exactly how to parallel park to the passenger side. So step number 1 is you're going to again pull up the tractor and trailer straight. Make sure you are 100% straight. The best maneuver is you want to be 2 feet away from this line right here, this imaginary line, or from this cone. Okay? So that cone that we measured before, as you can see better here, you want to be 2 feet away from this cone, but you want your tractor and trailer to be straight. Once you are straight, you want to line up your back tires with this cone here. So this line is where those back tires are on the trailer, okay? So you're going to line up those back tires with this cone. Once you've lined up the back tires with the cone and your tractor and trailer straight, you're going to ask yourself the same question you ask yourself for offset backing, which is, where do I want my trailer to go? So in this case, I want my trailer to go to the left, so I'm going to turn the wheel to the right, okay? So my trailer is going to start angling over to the left. And now, where do you stop this first turn? Again, that was an extreme turn, just like offset backing. I told you this is very similar like offset backing. Now, instead of looking at the cone that was supposed to be here, which is not here anymore, you're going to be looking at this outside corner, okay? You want this vehicle to be aiming 3 to 4 feet this time of the back line. So if you're talking about the back line here, you want this side of the trailer, the driver's side of the trailer, because we're coming over to the driver's side, to be aiming right around there. Not quite at the middle, but before the middle of the lane, okay? Once you've gotten that first turn to this step, we're going to turn the wheel all the way to the opposite side, which in this case is to the left, until our tractor and trailer is straight. Just like offset backing again. Now, once your tractor and trailer are straight, you're going to keep backing up straight. So if it's right, turn right. If it's left, turn left. Right, turn right. Left, turn left. Until these trailer tires have crossed this imaginary line. And what do I mean by imaginary line? I mean, if we were to draw an imaginary line from this cone here up to this cone here, that would be your imaginary line we were talking about, okay? So, as you're backing up, and these passenger side trailer tires touch this imaginary line, that's when you start turning again. So, you're going to start turning in this case, because you want the trailer to start going to the right, you're going to start turning to the left until the trailer again is inside the lane, or parallel with these lines here. Once the trailer is parallel with these lines, all you do is you turn right and you straighten out the tractor and the trailer. Okay? If you have to, you pull up straight, just line everything up again, and now you've just completed a parallel park. So, in order to parallel park, all that matters is the entire vehicle has to be within the lane. So, inside this lane here, has to be inside this lane here, cannot cross this bottom line, cannot cross this top line. And that is parallel parking. So as a recap, step 1, be 100% straight, 2 feet away from the cone. Once you line up your trailer tires with the cone, you start turning, in this case, all the way to the right, because we want our trailer to go left. Once this side of the trailer lines up 3 to 4 feet from this cone over here, you're going to start turning to the opposite side, which is to the left, okay? Until your tractor and trailer is straight. Once your tractor and trailer is straight, you're going to start backing up. So if it's right, turn right. If it's left, turn left, because you're going to back up straight. Once these tires have crossed this imaginary line on this side, we're going to start turning the wheel to the left, because we want our trailer to go to the right. Once the trailer is inside the box in a parallel form to this line here, that's when we start turning the wheel back to the right to get ourselves straight inside the box. And then if we have to, we pull up straight to make sure every piece of our vehicle is within these 4 corners right here. Okay? So you can go up as much as you want, just make sure you do not cross those 4 corners there. And that is how you parallel park to the driver's side. So now it's time to parallel park to the passenger side, okay? So it's the same exact maneuvers as we did to the driver's side. Step 1, make sure the tractor and trailer is straight, 2 feet from this first cone here, okay? You're going to back up until the trailer tires are in line with this cone. Once the trailer tires are in line with this cone, you're going to turn the wheel, in this case, all the way to the left, because we want our trailer to go to the right. So you're going to turn the wheel all the way to the left. The trailer is going to start pivoting to the right. Once this side of the trailer is aiming 3 to 4 feet inside of this cone here, which is right on this line right here, that's when you can turn to the opposite direction to make sure that the tractor and trailer are straight, okay? So you're going to turn the wheel, in this case, to the right. The tractor and trailer are now going to be straight. You're going to back up this tractor and trailer straight as much as you can. Once the driver's side tires have crossed this imaginary line again, from this cone to this cone right here, then we're going to start turning the wheel again. In this case, we have to ask ourselves the same question: where do we want the trailer to go? We want the trailer to go to the left, so we're going to have to start turning right, okay? Once we start turning right, the trailer is going to get inside the box. Once the trailer is inside the box, you do a correction turn to the left. That's going to get you inside the box here, okay? You're going to back up as much as you can, so then you can pull up and line up correctly inside the box, okay? And that is how you parallel park. Again, a step by step, real quick. tractor and trailer straight, 2 feet from this cone. Line up the tires 2 feet away from this cone. In this case, we're going to turn to the left. Get the trailer to start angling to the right. Once this side of the trailer is aiming 3 to 4 feet inside the bottom cone here, then we start turning, in this case, to the right to get the tractor and trailer straight. Once the tractor and trailer are straight, you're going to start backing up straight. Once the driver's side trailer tires have crossed this imaginary line, you're going to start turning the wheel to the right to bring the trailer to the left, and then you're going to correct by turning right again, by turning left, I'm sorry, to get the tractor inside, and then you pull up straight to straighten everything out. Now again, if you're not 100% straight, if you're crooked like this, but you're inside the box, that's all that matters. Again, at the end of the day, is that your entire vehicle is within this line right here, which it is. So if you stand on this corner, and none of your vehicle is touching the line, that means you've passed this portion of the test, okay? Now for this portion of the test, you can get out twice to look. It's very important that you do. Especially at the end, you make sure that the entire vehicle passes. Now, if you fail to get out of the vehicle and check to make sure that the entire vehicle is within the boundary lines, and you say finish, and the vehicle is not inside the boundary lines, you are going to get deducted massive points for your CDL road test and possibly fail the test. So make sure that this is very important and this is inside the lines at all times by the time you're finished. So like I said, we were going to teach you parallel parking, and we did. Now it's time to go do it in real life. Here comes the fun.